Welcome to the Heat Healer Expert Series. I've got Rachel Kalmar here today, who is a holistic nutritionist specializing in gut health. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you so much. I am so excited.
Can we start with how you got into holistic nutrition and how you were passionate about that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's most people, how they get into their line of work is their own experience. And I have had quite the roller coaster with my health, and the medical system just did nothing for me. I was just passed from doctor to doctor with all these different potential diagnosis, and it just, I got no answers. So I just kind of took matters into my own hand. I found the holistic field, fell in love with it, and could really see how much help it gave me in so little time, more than 10 years of going from doctor to doctor. So just through my experience, my dad has ulcerative colitis, so helping him, through that. My mom's had gut issues her whole life. So just really trying to find a solution, like, why are we all struggling and why can none of us get better? So yeah, it's been fantastic. I love it.
You're a regular on my Instagram. You love the sauna.
I do.
Body belt. So I'm just wondering, what is your sauna routine?
I keep it, honestly, it's not very spicy. I set it up, and then as I'm waiting for it to heat up, I take a binder. So I know this is probably gonna be very different than anyone else you ask for their sauna routine. I take a binder because part of the reason why I'm using the sauna blanket is to pull out toxins and to pull out crap that's sitting in my body that's harmful. So I take a binder because it helps pull that out with like even better benefit, something to grab onto the toxins and the chemicals that we're ingesting, even just like from air pollution, and even toxins and chemicals that are in our cleaning products in our own home. So I just take my binder, I wait for it to heat up, I change, and then I hop in. So it's like nothing super crazy, but dark room, sometimes a meditation, oftentimes like music I just really enjoy, and I fall asleep.
Amazing. What time of day do you do it? Like, do you normally do it in the morning or at night?
I actually do it in the evening.
Yeah.
And sometimes it messes me up in terms of going to bed because I take a little nap at like 8 o'clock. But I that's just how I can fit it into my day. Sometimes if I'm super exhausted in the middle of the day, I'll do it like an afternoon sauna session, hardly ever in the morning, but I love it as like a wind down routine. Often I recommend it to my clients as their like stress management before bed, hop in the sauna blanket, sweat it all out, and then, get in the shower and go to bed.
It sounds fabulous. I'm actually the opposite. I do it in the morning as like
really?
Yeah, it energizes me.
Yeah,
so I like a 15-minute cardio session, and then I'll, while it preheats, jump in the sauna while I'm doing breath work or a meditation or something, and then shower, and then ready for the day.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I should try that because I find sometimes getting started in the morning is very slow.
Yeah.
And I can utilize that by actually doing something that's good for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I end my sauna session with a cold shower.
Yeah. Amazing. Me too.
So I do that I do the heat and the cold alternate. I was going to, there's places where I live that do that, but I didn't like that I was sitting in a cold bath that other people had just sweat in. So I stopped going, and I was just like, I could do this at home. I have my sauna blanket and I have a shower that I can make ice cold, and it does the same thing.
Yeah.
So I usually end with a cold shower. It helps activate and stimulate the vagus nerve and bring down inflammation and all the good stuff.
Yeah. I've heard another person that pictures on our Instagram say that if you put the cold shower on your neck, it's really good for stimulating vagus nerve.
Yeah, well, it runs down your spinal cord.
Yeah, cool. What are the top 3 reasons that you would recommend saunas to your clients?
I can't even, I mean, I wrote down 3 because I'm like, there's so many that just run through my head that I knew I was going to be like, I don't know, because there's so many.
Yeah.
First and foremost is detox. Like really supporting the body and pulling these toxins from the body is one of, that's one of the reasons why I got into it, to help with any type of cleansing that I was doing. So definitely detox, stress management, relaxation, calm down, put me into that like rest and digest mode as opposed to always being so stimulated in that fight or flight mode and just chronically activated. So it's really one of those ways that I find is so helpful to just zone out. And then also inflammation. It's so good for helping rid inflammation. I think as a society, we're all just walking around with low-grade chronic inflammation. We don't support our bodies the way we should be supporting our bodies. We're inundated with things day in and day out, and it's just another way that we can help mitigate that. Energy support.
Yeah.
Sauna is actually really good, obviously, like mitochondrial support. So really regenerating all of our energy systems. So it's actually really useful for you, like for anyone to do in the morning. But yeah, that's definitely, so I gave you 4.
Okay, that's all right. Why not? I love them all.
Yeah, but those are my reasons.
I've seen a lot of information on your Instagram lately about the drainage funnel. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I'm so curious.
Yeah, that is one of my passions. I think it's a big piece of the puzzle that people are missing in their healing journeys. Essentially, the drainage funnel is like all of your elimination pathways. So your skin being the largest organ, the largest elimination pathway, your colon, liver, and kidneys, your cells, lymphatic system. That is all part of the drainage pathway. And if those are, bunged up and not moving, especially when you start at the bottom of the funnel, which is the colon. So someone who's constipated, and not going to the bathroom, every system above the colon is going to be backed up, and you're just going to feel like utter like crap, for lack of a better word, like just tired and like heavy and brain foggy, probably gaining like a lot of weight or just hard to lose weight and bloated. So the drainage funnel is so important when healing. All of those systems need to be functioning so that we can eliminate toxins, bacteria. We want our liver to be working properly, our kidneys to be filtering properly. Like everything needs to be functioning. Our lymphatic system, huge part of the immune system, like all of these things have to be supported. So I talk about it a lot because a lot of people are sitting with stuck drainage funnels and will try every supplement in the supplement store and find that nothing helps them because they're not actually looking at what needs to happen first. They're jumping to, I have a headache, so I'm going to take magnesium. But really, you probably have chronic headaches and migraines because your lymphatic system isn't moving, and therefore your brain literally can't drain.
That is so fascinating. I love how you describe it like that. It's so good. Yeah.
Thank you.
I haven't thought about it like that.
Yeah, I'm grateful that more and more people are talking about it and bringing light to it because it is so important. I think a lot of practitioners are really skipping over something that is really fundamental for healing.
Yeah, it's like the bones of it. It's like the basics.
Essentially. Yeah, essentially. Like I don't do any parasite cleansing. I don't do any candida cleansing. I don't move forward with anyone until we've done drainage funnel support, because like if you go in and do a parasite cleanse or a candida cleanse and you are killing things, and once you kill, they also release toxins that they've been storing. If you're not going to the bathroom or your liver isn't functioning properly, everything's going to recirculate in the body and you're actually going to become way more toxic than you already were. and feel even worse than you already felt.
Oh, wow.
So there's like steps to healing and steps to doing things. And this is often the times like when you're working out and you have to do like the basics, the foundations that like, you're like, oh, I'm not really going to make gains doing this, but it helps with form and it helps you down the road. That's like what the drainage funnel work is. You got to do the basics before you can jump into anything else.
Really like that. That's so cool. So I recently did like a 5-day reset where I had no alcohol, no coffee. And I'm just really curious, like you often talk about matcha. So matcha or coffee, which one do you prefer?
Okay, so if you're asking which one I prefer for me,
Yeah.
I should be drinking more matcha than coffee, just with the current state that I'm in. But I think this question is also, if anyone else who's listening is thinking about it for themselves, it's like, where am I at in terms of how I feel or what I'm going through? Anyone who's dealing with like crazy anxiety or nervousness, you're going to likely not want a stimulant such as coffee, or anyone dealing with blood sugar imbalances, you're most definitely not going to want to have coffee, or who's super stressed or dealing with adrenal fatigue. But then you look at matcha, and matcha has that really steady state energy. You're not going to have that crash that coffee is going to do, especially if you're not adding a fat or a protein to it. And it also has L-theanine, which is super calming, super relaxing. So I feel like everyone should probably just be drinking matcha, like a good organic ceremonial grade matcha. But a lot of people do well with organic, like mold-free coffee. But if you're drinking like Tim Hortons, well, in Canada, if you're drinking Tim Hortons, or I guess I should say Starbucks coffee, coffee is one of the most heavily sprayed crops. So a lot of times we're actually just adding to our chemical load and our toxic load. And people think they're actually getting energy from it, and we're just, creating more issues. So if you're going to choose coffee, be careful, pick and choose wisely. But honestly, it's just so dependent on the person.
Yeah.
I like coffee better, but I also do actually really like matcha. I'm just too lazy to make it. And that's honestly the honest truth. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it.
They need to like have like a matcha machine.
Yeah, I know. Just like coffee machines. I mean, I've gotten like pre-made powders, but unless I'm actually adding more milk and I'm frothing it and I'm doing things, it doesn't do it for me. So I'm like, oh, so much.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, I'm just wondering about the vagus nerve as well. You talk a lot about it, and we just spoke about it with the cold shower. So I was wondering what 3 ways we can stimulate our vagus nerve.
Sure. I actually will give credit to Dr. Stephanie Canistero, because she is the vagus queen and she has taught me everything I know about the vagus nerve. So if anyone is interested in it, like, she is the person to go to. But one of the ways she taught me is actually taking a toothpick, and you can tap along your inner ear, and you can tap along this muscle is called the sternocleidomastoid. You can kind of just tap anywhere along your body. Firstly, it helps reduce anxiety, but it does activate the vagus nerve in certain trigger points, especially along the inner ear and along the neck. That's one way. Cold showers, another way. And gargling until you tear.
Wow. I love it. This is so juicy. I love it.
Gargling.
How do we gargle till we tear?
Like if you take water and you know how you gargle with it?
Yeah.
You just gargle really hard and eventually you're going to produce tears. And that's one way to stimulate the vagus nerve.
Wow.
Yeah. Or humming. Again, it's like, and like your friend said about the neck, like anything that's going to kind of vibrate. You could actually take the body belt.
Yeah.
The infrared light. Along here.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. On the front.
Yeah. If you're hitting it here. If it penetrates deep enough and with the PEMF, it should absolutely help with vagus nerve stimulation.
Does it run along your back at all? Because
Well,
often,
it is part of it's part of the like the cranial nerves, the longest cranial nerve. So it runs along the spinal cord, but it's innervated everywhere.
yeah, okay,
So every big organ, every digestive organ, everything is kind of innervated by the vagus nerve. So it's not that it's hard to stimulate, but we most often people have vagus nerve dysfunction. We got to retrain it. Oh, one other way that I learned recently, if you gaze from side to side and you hold it for like 2 seconds, and then you go to the other side and you hold it for 2 seconds, apparently that's also stimulating the vagus nerve.
what are 3 practices that help you show up as your best self every day?
Oof, that's a good one. One that I should be doing like absolutely more of is journaling in the morning. Gratitude specifically. Like just sometimes things don't go my way, or I'm not having the best day, and writing down things I'm grateful for, things that have happened that are positive. Definitely need to start doing that again now that I'm talking about it. But that's most definitely one way. Anything like stress management wise, whether that's taking my puppy for a walk, although he's a huge source of stress because he's a rambunctious puppy, taking him for a walk or cuddling him or playing with him, doing, anything. So anyone with a dog, they just provide so much love and heart, like warm heart. Making sure I'm drinking enough water. Like I'm trying to like give easy things, tangible things that, anyone can kind of just do and implement into their day, making sure even adding lemon water and sea salt I like to do. So I'm alkalizing my body because we are also very acidic, which is the breeding ground for inflammation and chronic low-grade inflammation. Don't want that. And my nighttime routine, which has now consisted of my body belt.
Cool.
And castor oil packing.
Amazing.
So there's a specific part of the castor oil. I will butcher the name if I even try to say it. Something acid. It starts with an R. In any event, it's got a property that's very, very, very anti-inflammatory. So it's extremely supportive for liver health, pelvic health, thyroid health, anything. You can kind of put it anywhere on the body that you're experiencing any pain, inflammation, anyone with PCOS or endometriosis in between your cycles. So if not while you're menstruating, but in between, doing like a castor oil pack along your pelvic region has been really helpful and shown to reduce a lot of pain that, women are experiencing through that. Period support, even by just doing your liver like every night or every other night. Sleep support, especially like our liver, works overnight. So when we support its detox pathways before bed, we're taking a lot of the work out of it, if that makes sense. So it's not working so hard overnight. A lot of times when people are like, oh, I'm up from 2 to 4 every night, that's typically your liver. And then I get a client, let's say, to start castor oil packing their liver before bed. And they're like, oh my God, I sleep through the night. I haven't slept through the night in years. What is happening?
Wow.
So it's it's just a really great oil for healing and overall health, and it's kind of supporting all the processes in the body that need that extra oomph. You've created something that's so affordable for people with that has so many health benefits is amazing, because I think one of the things that's lacking is the accessibility to infrared light devices because they are insanely expensive.
Yeah.
So what you've created is unbelievable, because when I tell my clients grab the heat healer belt or the body belt, it's this much, and they're like, oh, that's it. And I'm like, yeah, it's very affordable. This is where you need to start, because if you're not ready to jump into the sauna blanket, like start here and like see how you feel, even just by implementing that. Like I do it every night. I just like it. It feels good.
Well, we have one at our office that we often, everyone's fighting over it. It's like, it's my turn now. Because you can you can't just get in the sauna at the office, but like, you know, if you've got period pain or if you're suffering from something and you want to do it like while you're working, you can totally do that too.
Yeah.
It makes it easier.
I can't remember if I told you I had an awful cold and I took the body belt and I did it like a crossbody, but the actual belt part was on my back and like in a day it was gone. My
wow.
cough.
How cool is that? I know, I love putting it there. It's like a hug.
Yeah, I know. Loved it. It was great. In any event, I digress.
Well, it's been so great to talk to you. I've learned so much.
I'm so glad.
Can you tell us all how we can reach you and how some of our listeners, they might like to connect with you about getting their own personalized nutrition advice?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Livia Wellness. And then if you want, any more details on anything I provide, my website is liviawellness.com.
Awesome. So great to talk.
I honestly thank you so much for having me. I love talking to you and I love your stuff. So I am grateful.
Oh, thank you.